Hi, I'm Brandon, and I love Hallmark movies.
I'm Brian. I like Hallmark movies.
I'm Dan. I despise Hallmark movies, and this
is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host his podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Well, hello, everybody.
What a day.
Sure is.
What a day it
to be
is.
here.
For those that are watching on Philo, we,
back
it's
for
just
another
a
episode.
standard day for us. Leather jackets.
Just classic
guitars.
leather jackets, guitars,
You never know
how
when you
we
might need
do.
it.
Regular day on set.
You know, it's weird that we always break out the props for the most inconsequential movies. Like, we never do it on like a big, it's not like the Three Wise Men and a Baby. We have a prop. Like for
Sure brought Baby on set.
We just do like just like random movies. We're like, you know what?
Flight
Let's prop it up.
You think branching out is inconsequential?
Do you think it's consequential? They released it at the end of April in their schedule. They have told us it's inconsequential. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's inconsequential.
It's interesting. It's great
You
to be
think
here.
it's consequential?
I don't know.
I think the consequence was this.
Yes, I think
That's right.
this is what
We've
this
made
is
it
exactly right.
consequential. Sure.
Yeah.
It is a Tuesday today. Very excited to be back in the studio with my friends. I haven't talked to you guys in a while, though. So how was your weekend, Brian?
That's a good question. I think I'm going vegan after this weekend.
Really?
So that's where I'm
What
at.
happened there?
I saw a documentary.
That's how it always starts.
How serious are you?
I'm half serious. Like
Half?
I'm like gonna change my diet quite a bit. I feel like.
Talk me through this, because if I liked anything other than meat, I could be easily talked into this.
I have not a lot to say to you yet. All I know is I need to adjust.
But what was the last straw? What was in this documentary that made you go,
Is
yeah,
it how
man,
they're treating animals?
they really have goofed
the
up.
treatment. It's also just the detriment to the planet and the environment, and how it's so unnecessary. It's
But
like
the detriment to the planet, that's mostly beef.
exactly
Correct? That's
right.
not chicken.
It's beef.
The chicken is how
yes.
they're treating the chicken.
Oh, sorry, Aaron. Yes.
Dairy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's a big part.
Yes.
Dairy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, because
vegan
of
is not
cows.
dairy either. Yeah, it's cows mainly. That is
Yeah.
the problem.
So I think if I'm gonna do, I'm gonna find some nice small farms, and I'm gonna cut.
But you could eat chicken and still be on board with all that.
Yeah, but the chicken industry as well. It's a little suspect.
I have been more selective when I eat beef.
Yeah.
I don't-
So I think that's where I'm going to start. Is
I'm more like if I eat beef, I really make it count.
Yeah.
But I don't go out of I don't eat it as much as I used to.
Yeah,
That is because
same here.
I did read about that, and I was like, well, I just don't want to quit cold turkey, cold cow. No
Good
pun
one.
intended.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm going to cut back.
Yeah, same. And now I went through this phase years ago when I first
Well,
watched
you
something.
don't eat
and,
lobsters because of this. You're wrong
yeah,
on that.
that's sort of a joke, but also a little bit. Yeah.
You're from New England and you don't eat a lobster roll.
Yeah, I feel
You're wrong
bad.
for that.
I feel
Yes,
bad.
of course.
I feel bad. So
Yes.
yeah, I think I'm gonna do a little shift in the diet. I need some vegan, vegetarian recipes that I can make staples in my house.
There's really good vegan butter. I can point in your direction because my wife
I was
can't
thinking
have dairy
about
in
your
it.
wife because
And
of all the great resources. Yeah, resource wise,
Yes,
vegan
resource,
resource
of course.
wise.
Yeah.
She was on my mind.
Got it. Of course.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, that's the only.
Yeah.
So. I might have some questions.
Got it.
I might have to, meet up with her. I'll
Yeah, of
go to
course.
dinner.
Yeah.
Maybe we go to dinner.
Yeah. Of course.
Yes.
Wine
That's right,
and
no kidding.
wine and vegan dine her.
That's right. Strictly for
Strictly
the
for
better of
vegan.
the world and the planet.
Well, that's cool, man. Good for you.
That was more than you bargained for, I would say, right, Brand?
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to hear more. It would be I'd have a really hard life.
Yeah, there's no world where
Yeah.
I could definitely not go vegan.
It's
I could
tough.
give up beef if I had to.
Yeah.
I could not go vegan. That would be
It's a huge leap. Yeah,
just a virtual impossibility.
Yeah.
It would be real tough out there.
Yeah.
But where are we at with the impossible stuff? Is it?
I've
It's
never
not
even
good.
had that stuff.
I've had Impossible and Beyond.
Is
It's
it?
not great.
Is it coming? Is it coming around the corner
Everybody
at all,
that
Aaron?
says it's great wants it.
Aaron,
they want it to be
You're
great.
impartial. I feel like.
I like a Beyond Burger or the Impossible Burger.
Where have you had a good one?
I typically buy it from the grocery store and make it myself.
Oh, you make it yourself.
There you go.
I mean, it doesn't. It tastes like it's infuriating how close. Like it's one of those things where whenever they make like Coke Zero or Diet Dr Pepper tastes enough like Dr Pepper to where it tastes bad to me.
Yeah, sure.
I think they're trying to create the same flavor so much that I feel like I'm
Kristen says it's good, but it's not much better for the environment due to processing.
Oh, okay.
So if the whole reason you're doing is for the environment.
So I guess I'm out on that.
But do in these documentaries, do they tell you like, hey, in order for there to be a markable difference in the environment and whatnot, here's how many people would need to take this leap? Do they give you those numbers?
You can only control yourself.
Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can. But
and they can all
I'm just going to convince a few, and they bring their friends on board. No, but I'm at a point where there is talk about, the number, the whatever, 1.5 degrees that we have to not go.
Separation from
bacon.
All those, bacon. But all you can do, is just do your own thing and try to control your consumption, I guess. And
Dan, Kel Mitchell, go.
Welcome to Good Burger?
No, to Kevin Bacon, go.
Oh, Kel Mitchell?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's a tough one. He was in Good Burger with Kenan Thompson.
Okay.
Can I do SNL? Because then Kevin Bacon was on SNL. There you go.
That's
There's
easy.
two.
How do you like me
degrees.
now?
How do you like me now?
Does it have to be movies, or can you do TV
I don't
shows?
know.
I don't know the game. I don't know the
I don't
rules.
either.
Let's talk about branching out. I do know this.
My weekend was great, Brandon. Thanks for asking. I did hang out with you. So
I
there's
had a
that.
great weekend as well.
Right.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you so
Also
much.
hung out with
we
you.
all got distracted.
I hung out with everybody but
Outside.
Brian this weekend, so it was actually a pretty good weekend.
wow.
Well, I hung out with the best Grays.
That's true.
Grizzly and Gavin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Got
Brad
it.
had to come home at some point.
Yep.
So I saw
Yeah.
him there.
Yeah.
But then why didn't you come over? I never heard a reason why you weren't there on Saturday night for game night.
Oh, I went to Pickens.
Right, of
Saturday
course.
morning.
Can you tell people?
what?
Did you stay for the husband calling?
The what?
Is that what it was called?
The husband calling, yes.
Husband calling contest.
We did not stay in the arena area for husband calling, but don't you worry, you could hear it throughout the entire festival.
Now,
there is
explain
one-
husband
festival
calling
did you
really
go
quickly.
to in Pickens?
the Azalea Festival.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Now explain husband calling, because this was news to me as well.
I mean, I know what it is, but tough for these guys.
So it is women get up on stage and they do their best, their best yell of how they get their husband's attention, and it's a bit like I think you would call like a dog or something.
Yeah,
Like,
but it seems, because we looked up a couple videos, it does seem like it starts with the name and then
Yeah.
just degrading them and then the name at the back, and
It
so it'd be
is,
like, Dan, come here
But
right
then-
now. You're always so late. Come here now. You're always so late. You
There
big
is
dummy,
one-
Dan.
the one woman that I
really
heard
good.
won, she hit an octave
Oh.
that I didn't know humans could hear, and I don't think she took a breath for like a full minute. Like that, it just reached the whole festival. Like we
And
were a few streets away at that point.
That's how Pickens classes up all of their festivals.
That's
It's
right.
Typically
Yeah.
with some yelling of some sort.
You know
Well, they also had food trucks, and that's kind of why I really wanted to go.
So was it primarily flowers, food trucks, and husband
I
calling?
Did not see a single flower.
Azalea?
FFH, flowers,
I did
food trucks,
have
and
two little girls come running up to me with a sheet, and they were like, "Do you want to purchase some azaleas?" And I didn't trust anything. that was
Hold on.
happening.
So there was an azalea festival, and you didn't see any azaleas?
that also you can't time when those things
That's-
are going to bloom.
Crazy.
What if
They're
it was a late
there, then they're
frost?
gone.
I did purchase a lot. I supported a lot of local businesses, so
Well, good.
some candles.
But no, like, flowers to show
no, I got a candle that smells like flowers.
for it. Okay.
That's
close
good.
enough.
All right.
Close enough. That's definitely what they
living
meant.
in the future, I
did
guess.
try a strawberry cheesecake egg roll, and it was phenomenal.
What?
Was that from Everything Egg Roll?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Thought it might have been.
Nashville hot chicken mac and cheese
From where?
Ooh.
Where was that from?
from Macatech.
Oh, yeah.
What's
Yeah.
Macattack?
As a new vegan, I can't support that.
I can support it for both of us because it was.
It sounds
phenomenal.
great.
That sounds
I do
amazing.
think the
Are you
Carolina
out?
barbecue
You're out.
is better.
I'm no longer
Oh,
vegan.
yeah.
I'm easing into
Was
it.
Smoking Pig there? Smoking Pigs in Pendleton, and it's amazing.
There was
It's
a lot.
probably the best
I
upstate barbecue.
did buy
They have
I saw a
azaleas?
tea shop, and I went over because they had like book themed tea blends, and we got to talking. They're gonna open a space here in Greenville.
Our office? Oh.
And they were like, "What do you do in Greenville?" And I was like, "Oh, I work for this podcast." And I told her about it, and she goes, "Daniel and Haley," and I was like,
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Rest in
I had
peace,
to do
We
obviously.
got some bad news for you.
I was like, "Yeah,
Yes.
Ooh.
them."
Do they want to sponsor the show?
Not right now. They're upstarting like a brick and mortar business.
Yeah, but what better way?
Yeah, what
What
better
better
way?
way?
Well,
What
I'll
better
reach
way?
out
You
to
think
them.
we don't have a movie to review today? You know what I mean?
Oh, sorry.
whoops.
Branching out.
Oh, I also tried boiled peanuts for the first time.
What'd you think?
Big fan.
They're the best.
Yeah.
Thank you. You can live here.
Thank you.
You can live here.
Slimy
We
wet,
bought them-
Welcome.
We bought them
slimy
from a
wet
cart on the side of the road.
slugs.
I heard
Yes.
that was how you do it.
That is yes.
And I stand by that decision. We'll stop again.
I make my own boiled peanuts, or I only buy them from places on the side of the road. There's only two places.
I eat vegan.
But boiled peanuts season is actually made in November, so we're getting into the season where they're going to get really good because you can't get green peanuts unless it's during that time of year, and that's when they're really, really good.
Well, if you just let me know when they're really, really good, I'll go out and find some mini.
I'll bring you some.
Dan's
I make 'em-
insufferable when
I
he's
make
talking
'em
about
most
things he's
weekends when
passionate about.
I can find them.
Perfect.
Green peanut. I've done all the research.
Oh my gosh, I love a food. I want to share it with somebody, and you're making fun of me.
It's me.
Yeah.
Salty slugs.
Oh, they're they're the best.
slimy slugs is what you guys
So-
are eating.
Yeah.
They're
Slide.
unbelievable.
So I had a great weekend. I'm so glad Bran asked.
Thank you.
Bran, you want to talk about the movie?
I do. Branching Out. Thank you, Aaron. Branching Out originally aired on April 27th, 2024, and it went a little something like this. We get a full minute plus credit sequence to kick off this movie, but it's okay because it was cool. Then we meet Amelia. Amelia is a mom who is just crushing it. She's making lunches. She's putting it in a lunch tin that is most definitely not supposed to be a silhouette of Taylor Swift. We then meet TJ, who is supposed to be a professional guitarist. He auditions for a big tour, though, does not get that gig. Amelia's daughter, Ruby, is given a family tree project. Amelia is clearly very nervous about her family. She asks her teacher if she can do a different project and explains in great detail why she doesn't want to do this project, and her teacher says, sorry, kid, gotta do it. So she gets in the car and she tells her mom that she wants to try to find out more about her biological dad. Her mom reluctantly shows her a piece of paper and an audio clip that she has of his donor interview. That's all the information that we have to go off of. Ruby really wants to find him now that she's seen all this information. But Amelia explains that she can't request contact until she's 18 years old. When Ruby finds out about genetic registry test, she insists on taking one. Amelia reluctantly agrees. So a couple weeks later, the results come in, and Amelia privately looks at the results before she shows Ruby. And and there's one relative, Sophia Cruz, which is TJ's mom. She looks her up, and it turns out that she runs a popular farm nearby. So she goes to the farm, and she sees a guy who's clearly clumsy, just like Ruby. She goes to talk to him and shows him the file, and he's like, how'd you get that? And she's like, you have a daughter. TJ's the dad. And he's like, I really would like to meet her. So they meet, and it actually goes really well. They're both so excited to meet each other. Ruby asks TJ to come and speak at the school for the project, and he says, I'll let you know. He does let her know that the answer is no. He's feeling a little bit overwhelmed by all this stuff, but after a good kick in the pants by his dad, he decides he's going to show up last minute. Afterwards, Amelia's like, you can't just flip-flop back and forth if you're going to be a part of my daughter's life. They start hanging out with TJ's big family. Now, this is a big change of pace for Amelia and Ruby. Amelia, doesn't really have any. I know. Had her mom, but that was it. Dad left when she was very young, and so doesn't really have much of a family. So this is all very, very new. So things are going really well. And he takes Ruby to a music shop. He shreds. And this famous musician's manager is there and invites him to audition for a gig that's happening in town. He goes to make dinner for Amelia and Ruby and tells them the big news that he got the gig. Hey. They are pumped for him. Later that night, he and Amelia end up kissing big ones. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you find your daughter. It is time for the gig, and he crushes it and is offered a 6th month.
Nope.
A 6th.
On the 6th month, he'll be given a...
What? He's offered a 6-month tour. Yeah.
Not a 6-month.
Yeah.
tour.
What were you doing now?
You said 6th month.
Yeah. I did. I know what I did.
He'll be given a tour on the 6th month.
He says yes, but is clearly conflicted about this. He tells Amelia, and she tries to be supportive, but is clearly freaking out. And she leaves with Ruby. She tells Ruby that it'd be better if they don't see TJ anymore, because clearly his lifestyle, he's just going to be gone all the time, and it'd just be better this way. After a good kick in the pants from her best friend, she invites the family to show up last minute to Ruby's big family tree presentation. They show up, Ruby crushes it, and afterwards TJ tells Amelia that he's gotten approval to come home every 2 weeks on tour. Even though they're going to be in Europe, it doesn't matter. Come on. Amelia is thrilled and says that she wants him to keep seeing Ruby, and I'd like to keep seeing you too. And they kiss big ones in the hallway of the school for everyone to see. And that, my friends, was Branching Out.
We did
do it. Let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we are going to break this movie down with 4 segments. And I think we might drop our guitars for the rest of the show.
So, yeah.
Here on Deck the Hallmark.
Lady Ox is down?
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about Branching Out, the final Hallmark movie from the month of April. Let's break it down.
If somebody were to want one of these cool bomber jackets, where would they go about getting one?
We have such a freaking influx of it. We thought they'd be more popular than they are. We have too many, and so please go pick one up. DeckTheHallmark.com/shop. And you know what? I think we might put them on a little discount.
Little discount.
A little discount.
Summer?
Yes.
The liner in here, it's nice and warm. It's some would even say too warm.
Some.
For the studio.
DeckTheHallmark.com/shop and use the promo code BRANCH for the rest of the week, and you'll get something. I don't know what it is yet.
Ooh, but use the promo code BRANCH and you'll find out.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. And then see what else you like.
Yeah,
lots of stuff.
Since we're there,
while you're there,
hear your family.
Let's talk about Branching Out. Let's start with a hot take, is where we share exactly how we felt about this movie, and we don't hold back. And I'm going to start with you, Brian. Brian, my vegan fellow.
Soon to be
vegan fellow.
He's a vegan in training. V-I-T.
Yeah, VIT.
What did you think?
I thought this cast was really, really good. The little girl, Cora Bella, who played Ruby.
Oh, yeah, come on.
Phenomenal. This will probably be the last time we see her in one of these movies. She's too good. They give her the decky and let her move on.
It's
and
a small world decky right now.
Yeah. She was
good luck.
So good. Her timing, seeing, like, I thought she was good, and then I saw her up against another kid actor in the movie, and I'm like, oh, boy, otherworldly good. She's great.
Yes.
Tomas Sr., are you kidding me right now? That hair?
That guy?
Wow.
Holy cow. Holy cow.
Salt and pepper eyebrows on that guy?
If that's what she's got to look forward to with Tomas Jr., then you could be in worse shape.
Yeah, Tomas Jr. doesn't look nearly as good as his dad does.
Guys always age, it takes a little while, I feel like. So, I feel like this is a 1 in a million, maybe like 1 in a billion chance scenario that this works out the way that it did. Trillion?
Yeah.
100 trillion? Like, you got to go full speed into this. Jump in this family, like all on board. This was great. It could not be a better situation for her and for Ruby and for Tomas, actually, for her to be such a good mother and for Ruby to be such a great daughter, the best kid probably in the world. I think that, this is the best case scenario for this scenario. Like, other than it'll never go this good. So in this case, like, this is great. I enjoyed this movie. I thought they did a really good job. It was really well done. It's sort of a good PSA for people who, like, if you don't want to be a parent and you're not, like, and you don't want to go to jail, don't do a DNA test, and don't let anybody in your family do a DNA test and put it online. But if you're cool with, like, maybe having a kid or going to jail because for whatever you've done, you can submit your DNA online. But just be careful putting your DNA online. It sounds
like you are against these DNA companies. Would you ever do one?
No.
This guy rejects all cookies all the time.
Absolutely
He is
not.
just.
You can't. But the problem is, if somebody
he's got money under his mattress right now.
In my dresser drawer next to my mattress, I do.
Can we just be really clear here and, like, maybe also don't commit crimes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, why are you sticking up for the criminals
I'm
here?
not. I'm just saying, whether you did a crime or not, or somebody in your family.
If you didn't do the crime, then it won't matter.
That's
it's
right.
DNA.
Somebody in your family could have done a crime, and then any DNA in your family could lead back to them. So you got to protect.
They should do the
time. You have
Yes.
to protect your family criminals. So, no, obviously the crime. Don't do the crime. Obviously,
You don't want to do the time.
but it's so dangerous because one person in your family throws it up there, and it's like
I'm
it's a
gonna
free for all.
I'm gonna find a way,
No.
get a
I'm gonna
mug
I'm
that
gonna
Brian's
put my
been
drinks
using,
away.
and go somehow get it in the system.
Too
That's all I
willy-nilly
really-
with
yeah,
my
that's right.
my mugs and trash.
Just
I'm gonna
start wearing
start
gloves everywhere.
taking my trash with me when I leave. So yeah, I actually I was nervous about this. I ended up actually liking this quite a good bit.
Yes, you're right. It is the best case scenario. There's a lot that could go wrong here, and there's obviously the tough part with the guy. He didn't want it. He didn't want this, and you can either choose to let there be contact or let their name be
And
public or not, and he chose not to. So obviously, there's that side of it.
Yeah.
At the same time, I felt like they handled it as well as they could have, with it not being like he didn't put his DNA test, like he didn't put his DNA in, like it was the mother and she found him that way, and he could have said no. And so ultimately, what we're left here with is a fantastic cast and a pretty intriguing story. And you put all that together, and you have a movie that made me cry. A movie that made me go, Ruby, because she's a star, and a movie that might be my new favorite of the year. I adored this movie, loved it so much. Give it to me, Dano.
Yeah, I think what you've heard from both of these two guys is that the movie's very problematic, but I liked it anyway. And if that's you, that's fine. I think that there's nothing wrong with that. I think if you want to enjoy, all of Hallmark's movies are unrealistic and paint a picture of something that isn't real. And if you want to suspend your disbelief and enjoy a movie, then great. That was not the case for me. I love this cast. The Ruby is unbelievable. Sarah Drew and Juan Pablo de Pace are both really, really great. They have amazing chemistry, maybe best chemistry of the year. This movie's very, very problematic. I would submit to you this movie is far better without the entire family tree DNA test plotline.
Not the branching out of branching out.
Yes. If she just is a single mother, dad's dead, and meets this guy, and they fall in love, and she has to deal with his like big extended family, that movie is better than this movie. There's a lot that's very irritating about how Hallmark tries to handle this. A teacher that has no sensitivity toward the identity of a kid that she knows is absolutely a touchy subject and sensitive. If my kids ever had that teacher, there'd be hell to pay. The complete and utter the complete and utter lack of donor rights in this movie, where a donor apparently doesn't have any of those rights, which is wild to me, and how little they do to try to protect that. How quickly these two people throw everything else out, and how quickly all this comes together is absurd. It's unfortunate, and it's just not how these things work. It's very, very complicated, very, very difficult. Identity is important, and I think that they put identity in the backseat for the sake of a love story. And so all that really bothered me. The cast is great. The chemistry is great. Wish this was a better movie around them, but this is a situation where Hallmark desperately wanted this story, and they found the perfect people to try to pull it off. And if that worked for you, then God bless you. Happy you loved it. Didn't do it for me, though.
I do understand what you're saying about it being better without the branching out, but I also think that it was an intriguing angle of which that's been done a lot. So I like that.
Here's the thing: is there's a scene in this movie that made you cry, where she basically unveils her family tree, and there's all these roots, and she's like, "It's messy, but it's worth it." And that scene for you worked. For me, came off as this movie is the least messy thing I've ever seen in my life. It couldn't be cleaner. Like Brian said, 1 in a billion is kind here. This is the opposite of messy. The message that she is giving in that scene is the opposite of the message the movie is having you believe. And so for me, unfortunately, that took away from it. It didn't for you, and I'm happy for you. But for me, for her to sit up there and go, look at all these roots because they're messy, No. For the last hour and 20 minutes, you told me just how easy this was. I just that was killer for me. But if it worked for you, it worked for you.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's time for all the feels where we talk about when this movie gave us those feels. Brian.
Yeah, she did something when she did. I feel like most of us have done. I do this all the time. She got an email on her phone and she went to her computer to read it, because that's what you do with important emails. You don't respond and read them on your phone. I get something.
Is
I'm
this
like,
all the feels?
yeah, this was my feels, because I will do this. I will get an email and I'll be like, oh boy, I've been waiting for this. And I'll open up my laptop and I'll deal with it on the laptop, because that's where you deal with important.
Are you serious right now?
Oh, yeah.
Vegans, you don't want this
Oh,
one.
yeah.
You don't want him. You don't want to send him right
and
back.
I was just like, that I feel, yes, all the time.
You get an email and
yeah.
you go, I can't process this if I read it on my phone.
Right. Yeah,
I gotta
it deserves
read it.
the respect of sitting down and opening up the laptop. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't think it had anything to do with the fact that it included a link to a website that might be better viewed on desktop?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you give it the respect it deserves.
It wasn't
like,
the email. Like, she could have seen
wasn't
the email.
the email.
It might have been
click the link in the email, right? Wasn't it in the email?
Yeah,
click the link.
all I'm saying is
sit down,
you
you
don't
open it
know
up.
how she handles all big emails. This one was going to be a link to a website.
Right. And
Oh
you
my
want to view
gosh.
that on
This
your computer.
is crazy.
You don't want to
This
look at
is-
that on your mobile.
I
But
will
what you're
only get
saying
on
is
my
that
laptop if I have to.
that all big emails,
Yeah.
regardless of link or not.
You see the subject, you're like, I can't do this right now.
Yes.
If I have my stuff with me, yeah, I would prefer to sit there, open that big screen up,
Yeah.
look, get comfy.
It's like, man, I could go ahead and find out this news right now.
No.
So
Where's my laptop?
when Dan's wife
I'm gonna delay
emails
this.
you vegan recipes,
Yeah.
Yes.
computer or phone?
The computer, because then I can sort them. I can look at multiple things here. I can have some space and
Yeah, of
time.
course.
Yeah.
When I send you the code for this with what the DietToHallmark.com/shop code branch,
Yeah.
and what the deal is going to be,
Yeah.
email, the computer or phone.
What do I have to do with it?
Just kind of look at
Just
it.
look- I'll do that
It-
email.
You find out what the deal is.
Oh, I'll do that email. I mean,
What does
on
that
my
mean?
phone.
Okay.
On my phone.
Oh.
Yeah.
If
I'm not
the-
looking to take
so
an
do you
action.
think
Interesting. I would say that's actually a pretty
the
big
big deal.
email.
Do
That's
you,
a pretty
do you
big
think
deal.
when Vanessa Dial is opening
Yeah,
up the
Dale.
new
Yeah.
the Dale?
No, it's Dial,
It's
but we
Dial.
decided we were going to go
Vanessa
with Dial.
Dial is opening up the newsletter every
Yeah.
week.
Oh, she went to the computer.
She goes to the computer.
100%.
Interesting.
She saw her name. She covered her mouth, shocked, and she said, "I got to go check this out, investigate this."
But I just I understand wanting, like, if it's an email that I'm going to have to respond to and give
Yeah.
thought to or something. I can understand.
no,
That's what I'm
but
saying.
you're
Like,
saying
in the
saying
chat.
even looking at it.
No.
You see the
yeah,
notification
if I see it
come
come in, I go, "Oh boy, I'm opening
No,
up the computer
in the
for this."
chat,
Oh yeah.
Summer.
You know you're wrong.
No.
You've backed yourself into a corner.
This is ridiculous.
No, man.
But Summer in the chat's like, hey, if I have to type a response,
sure.
that's different. If there's any email that requires more than 2 lines, I'm going to type it on a
Yeah, if
computer.
there's, like, some
That is not
follow-up
what-
action-
That's not what this is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wait to hear news or read something important.
You get the
Why
things
not?
you've been
On my
waiting for a
laptop.
long time, and you're going to have the restraint to
100%.
go into the other room?
Yeah, dude.
Crazy,
I'm gonna
man.
sit down,
You're
look
a
at
better
that on the
person than me.
laptop. If I know I have like action to take,
I don't have the restraint to do that. I see the link, and I'm immediately opening
You're
that
in that
email.
link.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, I don't say I'm better. I think you guys, I wish I were more like that.
I just think
my
Brian's the
natural
oldest of the 3 of us, and I think Brian's just showing his age here. I think this is just
Gotta
like
sit, open up the
like
computer.
I just got to get up to my
I just gotta
my
get onto
desktop.
America Online.
That's right.
And just
Get on the
dial
line.
on up.
You put it on the line. Yeah.
My feels is we've had, maybe a handful of underwhelming performances this year. Not in this movie. Ruby is a star.
Yep.
An amazing performance. Her first actual full-length credit.
Yeah,
The
I
only
saw
other
that.
credit on her IMDb is a short.
Yeah.
And so this kid has a future. Was fantastic in this movie. And so much of this movie relied on the kid and their excitement and their persistence. And not just any kid could have gotten this and pulled it off. And so shout out to Ruby. Congrats on your first role. You knocked it out of the park, kid. Dan?
Ruby was great. I love a quesadilla taco. They make those in this movie. Quesadilla taco is wonderful. Cast is great. That's all I got.
It's time for us to break.
It's time for his
I
shooty break.
need it. What's up? We're back. We're talking about branching out, and we're going to do something crazy. We're going to branch out as well. Our third segment's the Wait What. It is where we talk about what this movie made us go, wait, what? And I'm going to branch out on over to Brian. Brian?
Take that, Brent. Look at us branching out. I got nervous near the end of this movie because I didn't have any wait whats. And then thankfully we got to the concert part.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, phew, because I was just a downpour hit me. I stuck with 2. So it's a family and friends showcase type of thing. A 2-hour show?
Yeah.
Are you kidding
With
me?
an intermission.
With a break, a 30-minute break, and then a 15-minute
encore.
Are you kidding
it's almost
me?
3 hours.
Holy cow. I heard that, and it kind of went over my head, and then I sat there, and I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Because that intermission and encore time isn't included. If it is, then the timing doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But they play for an hour. They do an intermission,
That's
30-minute
right.
break, and then they play for another hour.
One more hour.
And then they do a 15-minute encore.
Yeah.
That
It's
is
too much.
2 hours and 15 minutes. It's 2:45.
That's too much.
No openers.
Yeah. That's way too much. And then when he's performing, he did a very bold move as a backup. Went over to the singer's mic and sang into the lead singer's mic, which I don't feel like you can do that.
Bold.
Yeah, so bold.
You have to be a permanent part of the band in order to do that.
100%.
You have,
you have,
co-founder, something.
something.
Yes. Holy
It's,
cow.
You know, I don't know, with U2. Like if they brought in a guest, a guest
Leaning into
guitarist,
Bono's mic.
kidding me?
get out of here.
You can't do that.
Get out of here.
Get on out. You're
Unless
fired.
you're, what is it, their guitar? The Edge? Is that their
The
guitar?
Edge?
Yeah.
Unless you're the Edge.
Sure.
Get out of
Of
here.
course. I mean, this guy, he's got 2 names.
You're not the
This
Edge.
guy.
His name
So,
is The Edge.
Yeah.
so that was a little ridiculous. And that's kind of it.
I have a few. One, y'all, we have to get this girl a guitar case. She's running around willy-nilly, throwing in the backseat of her car in case inspiration strikes. And I get it. Sometimes you want to play your guitar when you're on the way home from school. You've got some thoughts. You want to get it out there. But we just got to take care of this sucker. It's because that's in the backseat of mom's car all day. She doesn't take it into school with her. It's just whipping all around. Yeah. The top of it is hitting up against the sides. We got to get this girl a case. It's reckless, and I just want her to have a long career as a musician. And it's gonna be tough when you're buying guitars every couple days. There is it's just weird, and I don't know if this happens on a regular basis, and I've just noticed it because of who is featured prominently. But we get a close up of Amelia's nightstand, and there's an alarm clock, there's a stack of books, and
This is
Here
a
we
record
go.
the
scratch.
book that stuck out to me,
All of us.
was a book by Dave Ramsey, friend of the show. And why?
Yeah.
I feel like typically they don't like feature real books, or
And
they
we
only
see it
feature
twice.
Yeah.
or they only feature like public domain stuff or something. This is like Dave Ramsey's big book. I don't even remember what it's called. Dave Ramsey's Fun Time with Monies, or Not Fun Times with Money.
How to spit on poor people.
Yeah, and so.
That's the subtitle.
And so I, first of all, encouraged to see that she had money in her book envelope to buy that book. But also it just took me out of it for a second.
Yeah.
That's Dave Ramsey's book. What a weird shout out. Did he pay for that? Did it come out of Dave Ramsey's advertising envelope? I don't know. But I would like to put it back in the envelope and wish that it didn't happen.
I don't think she'd read the book based upon how she treated everyone with respect. That was my cue. She had not read the Dave Ramsey book, is it seemed like it didn't matter your socioeconomic status or your gender. She treated everyone with the same level of respect and courtesy. So there's that. She also seemed to give generously. So, I mean, there was 2 reasons that I felt like probably wasn't read.
It's good to be back. Guys, this school needs to have a meeting ASAP. Reason being, my guy shows up at this school during school hours, opens up the door, runs in, runs straight to
It's
the
unbelievable.
classroom. Meaning, anyone could do that. Anyone, good or bad intentions, could open up this school door and run straight through the hallway and into any classroom that he wants to. Doesn't need to check in, doesn't need to be buzzed in, doesn't need anything.
No,
There's no,
it's unbelievable.
you can just go on in.
Yeah.
School's already started. run down the hallway of a school.
Yeah. Yeah. With
with
leather
no
jacket
idea,
on.
yeah,
Leather
just
jacket.
whatever you
And
want.
he somehow knows where her classroom is. He knows the exact classroom she's in. He's known her for like 5 days. It is crazy. No security, no ID check, no nothing.
I couldn't get to my kid's classroom.
The fact that this gentleman has the local elementary school.
Wait a second.
You could get to your kid. You could not get to your kids?
I don't think I could.
I could for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think that I could.
But the fact that he has the elementary school mapped out is a problem, right? I think he doesn't have any kids.
I know where
he
one of
doesn't
the
have
rooms
anybody in that school. That's an issue. Sheesh.
Yeah. Last but not least, they are waiting. He's talking to Amelia and Ruby before the big concert, and he hears a vroom, like a big guitar strum, and he goes, "That's my cue."
Yeah.
The cue that the show's about to start is someone doing a big strum on, again, his instrument. He's the guitar player. So did someone go up and give his guitar a big strum? Is it a sound from the back of the room that they had queued up? Hey, man, like 2 minutes to showtime. Can you just press the big guitar strum button? Thanks, sound guy. Very weird that's the cue. Typically, just like a little light dim or whatever. Yeah. Well, that's enough?
Yeah.
But not here. Not at this show. Dana?
I don't have many left. Those are two of my big ones. Sarah Drew, when the first time she meets Juan Pablo de Pace's character, she has the blue donor folder. It has a picture of him as a baby, and it has the word donor on it. And she hands it to him and says, "Is this you?" And he reads it and says, "Yeah, that's me. What's this about?" What do you think it could possibly be about? She has your sperm donor folder. She has it. What do you think? It's just like a subpoena to go to court? Do you think it's a voter census? There's only one thing this could possibly be about. One of the big things about
someone
this
in his
movie,
family committed a crime.
Ooh, could be that.
Gotta protect them at all
DNA
costs.
test. One of my big issues with this movie that isn't IVF related is the fact that this guy is never on an even playing field with Sarah Drew from a standpoint of capital. Like, he literally cannot do any wrong. And not in the way that like Tyler Hines can't because he's Tyler Hines. They've made a Tyler Hines character flawed before. This guy was a donor, knew he didn't have to be a father, wasn't planning on being a father, and can just say no to everything. And the movie kind of spins its wheels trying to get him to be bad, to be like something that he's not. Like, you're a flip-flopper or you're whatever. Like, this guy going on tour was an inevitability. And you didn't mention it, actually, I don't think, but no tour where you're the traveling musician is going to let you come home every 2 weeks from Europe. It's just not going to happen.
I want the Hallmark, yeah.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. Brandon will talk more about it later. Sorry. And then lastly, Sarah Drew waits until she's walking in the classroom for her kids' family tree project to send out a group text. Hey, I know it's last minute, but if you can make it, that would be awesome. Okay, that's not last minute. Last minute would be that morning. You've invited them after the thing has already started or it's about to start. And second of all, that's bad. That's bad. But they all make it. They all see that like it's the bat signal. And it's not like a couple of them made it. They all made it. They were within under a half an hour from dressed and at this school in the classroom. Very impressive. That's all I got.
It is time for What the Hallmark? That's where we wonder what could have been. Maybe having a good job. Brian, what are you still wondering about?
Yeah, my big wonder throughout this movie was the family and like, what is their deal? This farm is incredible. They have like,
what's the deal with this family?
They have cabins, it looks like, on like a little pond, like a man-made pond or a lake. They have the store, obviously. There's probably other like pick your own whatever. What
they
is
also
their,
like founded a popular farmers market?
Yeah,
I
farm to
believe.
table type whole a co-op or something. Like, I need some more info on them. They seem super,
and clearly doing very well.
Yeah, super successful,
doing great,
incredibly successful, and just the green, like where they had the party, all the food, the layout, everything was incredible. So I don't know. I hope it's all in the up and up. Like, this family farm is incredible.
Well, it better be because somebody put their DNA out there.
You just never know. I would love to hear more about that origin story and how they grew that business, because that it's impressive.
Yeah. Danny mentioned it, but obviously him being able to come home every 2 weeks is crazy. I know in the world in which we live in, everybody thinks that what Taylor Swift does is the norm, where she does weekend tours and then just like gallivants around, going to Super Bowls and stuff. It's just not normal. And they mentioned that part of the tour is a European tour. And like, there's a reason why American artists don't go to Europe all the time, and it's because it's expensive and it's complex and it's confusing. And when you do it, you freaking grind. You are doing so much work. You're doing so many shows. You don't just get the time to just do whatever. And so this artist is popular, is famous, is a big deal. Everyone's very excited about it. He's not Taylor Swift. And so this whole leaving every 2 weeks to come home, unless it is for a day, and if so, not worth it on his end, is just crazy. How does it work? What is the actual game plan here? Because it seems like something you say to somebody like, yeah, man, we'll make that work. And in the background, you're like, there's no way.
There's no way that's happening.
But whatever.
No. They would have just gone with a different guitarist.
Yes, absolutely.
That's all they'd have done.
That's the big thing. If this is a guy they've never worked with before.
And he calls in favors.
We like you a lot, but like,
no.
I was saying when he called in and he was like, hey, I have a couple of stipulations. I told Dan the only stipulation that would make sense is, hey, like during summer vacation, can they come out on the road with us?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is one of those things where it's like, it's not ideal to have extra people on the road, but whatever, we'll do it. Great. We'll see how it goes. And by summertime, maybe he's not good enough. Maybe we can fire him. Whatever.
Yeah. Take it out of the salary. No big deal.
This is crazy.
Yes.
Every 2 weeks you get to come home. Nutso. Dano?
The two questions I have to ask aren't great. Nobody wants to think about them, but they're both there. Number one, how many kids does this guy have? How many kids does he have?
Was it a one and done donation type of situation?
He needed money. No, he needed money.
Yeah.
And at $100 per donation, I don't think it was a one and done. The guy needed money. How many kids does he have wandering around out there? One. And two.
Have I got a Vince Vaughn movie for you?
If Juan Pablo de Pace and Sarah Drew break up, the amount of trauma for poor Ruby is unimaginable. It is like a divorce on steroids.
Dude, it'll be great for her music career, though.
It would be great for her music career.
She's gonna write.
Terrible for her life and her mental health. It is just like the pressure for those two to stay together is not manageable. So those are my two questions.
Hey, did you mention that her best friend says Daddy was a Rolling Stone?
Yes, instead of Papa was. Right. I didn't mention it, but instead of saying Papa was a Rolling Stone, her best friend says Daddy was a Rolling Stone.
Daddy was a Rolling Stone.
Yikes!
Yikes of bikes. Got those moves like Jagger. Brian, we've come to the part of the show where you bless us. By doing a super deep dive on one of the double deckers. We call it Double Decker of the Week. It's a great time because you've been given the keys to the kingdom, so to speak, and that kingdom is Google Plus.
That's right.
Don't look it up.
Not that.
Not that one. You can't get.
You won't be able to
one.
find it. That's why this took
Top
so long
secret.
to get
the
back going.
handover. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Of course.
But Brian, you find out so much about our double deckers, whether they want you to or not. You relay that information to us and to the world, and I can't wait to see who we got today. Dano, who do we have?
I'm going to give it my best effort here. It's Danielle Van Skyok. Danielle Von Skyok. Let's go with that.
Yeah. Mine, I would this whole time feel silly. I was going with Danielle Van Scoach.
Van Scoach. I don't know how you got to Scoach from there, but
Skyok, the Scoach. Maybe that's why it took me longer to find the information.
Yeah. It was a deep. It was a deeper dive than normal for sure.
Super deep dive. I feel like I should get overtime pay for this one. So Danielle's been working on. Brand, you're big into game shows lately. Yep. Right, and Danielle's trying to push a new idea for a game show.
Great.
And you've heard of Is It Cake? We all love Is It Cake?
We don't love it, but yeah, it's on.
Yeah.
We don't love it?
The show?
Yeah.
That show seems miserable. I've seen previews and I'm like, I'm done.
It's fun to watch with the kids. So
Aaron,
Danielle's got
didn't you like the Netflix version, but another version of the show?
Josh Groban hosted one for Roku.
Yeah, for Roku. That's right.
I would just say it's fun in small doses, but maybe don't spend your entire day binge watching all the seasons at once, because you will start to question
the world.
What is cake?
Everything
Yes,
is
everything around
Everything
you.
is cake.
Those
You can't
cameras
do it
cake?
all day.
That's the key.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
So Danielle's she's on to something new here. It's in that vein, and it's a little game show called Super.
Soup or. Is that what it is?
Is it Super or something else?
Or something else, yes. And it's just called Super?
Soup or.
Soup.
Super. Yeah.
Soup or like ellipses. Soup or ellipses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like, give me an example.
So like you'd be on the panel,
Right.
But your soup is a liquid base.
Yeah, it's harder than
It's not like, is it porridge or stew? Like, it is soup, liquid
like, how do you
base.
fool somebody into
How do you think, is it not, like, how, is it just like, got them, it's chili?
So it's it's tricky because it all
like
appears to be liquid, appears to have a soup consistency, but sometimes it's not.
They're hiding a steak in that bad boy?
Sometimes they're hiding. No, they would never.
They wouldn't do
It's like
that.
you'll open it. You have to taste it. Obviously, you sample it, and sometimes it's actual soup, and sometimes it's like
Wouldn't you
something
know
else
if they
inside.
hand you a spoon or not if it was a soup?
Well, you would know it's a liquid soup, but it could be soup.
So sometimes they just
or
like
it
pour
could-
Gatorade in a bowl, and they're like, "Is this soup?
Yeah,
or
yeah,
is it
could-
Gatorade?"
Like, for example, they would say, like, for example, this bowl is woodpecker, and you would say, okay, that's either a woodpecker in there
Three
or
woodpeckers saving my cream.
soup.
I
Write that one down there.
I got to be
I'm
honest.
sorry, I was there, and then you brought up woodpeckers.
It could be anything.
Yeah.
It could
That's
be
not a
anything inside.
liquid.
No, but it could be inside there instead of there being.
There's a dead
standard-
woodpecker.
Wouldn't it make more sense for it to be? You look at it and you have to decide whether or not that's soup or it's like another liquid that they've made to look like soup instead of a solid object like a woodpecker.
No, I think having
There's a dead bird in the water.
We don't know if it's dead.
It's underwater, Brian.
Woodpeckers
it's dead.
are pretty good underwater.
Woodpeckers cannot breathe
They're
underwater.
pretty
They
good
don't have
underwater.
gills. A gilled
you don't
woodpecker?
need-
Get out of here.
You're only underwater for like a minute.
They just
Roll you
shove it
out.
under there?
Yeah, real quick behind the curtain.
You
they
think
put it in there.
a bird's holding its breath for a minute? I got to be honest.
It's
this
gonna be
sounds-
doing a little flapping, but yeah, it's gonna hold its. It's
This
got no
sounds
choice.
very interesting for literally the worst. We got three contestants today. Is a bowl of liquid? Is there a bird under there drowning slowly in soup? Oh. Welcome to your host, Brian.
Thank you for joining us today on What Is It? Soup or...
Pause the clip. Brian, you're the host.
Host the show?
guys-
You host Soup or?
I didn't think this was an important detail, but now we're here.
Well, I gotta be
That's
honest.
why you came
we're
up with that cockamamie scheme to
we're
drown a bird?
Wildly
Seeing as how-
interested.
Seeing as how you were so bad at describing it to us, I can't wait to hear how you describe it as the host. All right, play the clip.
Okay, so all right, thanks for joining us today on Soup or. In front of you, you have three cans.
Kill the birds.
We have three bowls, and you have to decide: do we have soup or
Take your shirt off.
something else? I will not take my shirt off, though. I could have a shirt in one of those bowls. Brand, what's in? What's in bowl number one?
Kill another bird.
Hi, everybody.
Bowl number one.
Right.
Thank you for
I'm
your time.
looking at
I'm bowl number 2. Yum, yum. Oh, yeah.
And I'm bowl number 3. I like long walks on the beach.
Can we pause the clip one more time?
Three great options.
You didn't tell me the bowls talked.
This
Had
how
I
are you
known that
supposed
the-
to know?
So much.
Had I known that the bowls talked,
I didn't want to talk it up too much.
I
But now
would've
that we're
been
here, I'm
back
glad you
on
guys
board.
get it.
This show seems so little to do with soup.
So little.
Soup or it's soup or.
The bowls talk.
Emphasis on the or.
The bowls talk, Brian.
But it could be a voiceover. You don't know if it's the bowl or it's somebody
And
pretending
I'm
to be the
pretty
bowl.
sure that second bowl was the Kool-Aid man. So could
that
that
could be soup.
Oof.
Did
It
someone
is
try
Kool-Aid
Kool-Aid
soup.
soup.
Did someone try to kill you in that episode? Someone in the crowd sounded how
It's not, well,
There
that's
were
pretty
a few
standard
different
for
things going on, but
those.
one of them was I hope you die.
Pretty standard
which
for
is
those
so weird.
episodes.
It's really
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah,
You guys
it's a
gotta get a-
controversial.
Where can you
topic.
find these episodes?
So this is it's Philo. Obviously, you could probably. We're pushing hard to get Philo to pick
Oh,
this
so Philo
up.
hasn't yet.
No, we're pushing
Has anybody?
hard. It's mostly internet based.
Okay, then let us know where on the internet.
It's a website called just Is It Soup or a voice of somebody else .net/index.
You gotta work on that domain.
Index. You got to get the index.
You got to
in
work
there.
on that. You got to work on
Yeah.
that. We'll get to it.
Thanks,
but thank you,
Danielle.
Brian. That was great.
Yeah.
We'll be back tomorrow with another one. Until then, maybe the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.